So when I first fell in love with sketch comedy, it was the doings of Saturday Night Live and Key and Peele, Monty Python. My dad and my older brothers are really obsessed with anything comedy, so that's kind of a lot of what we all watch together. It's just anything that's funny, anything that is just the most outrageously weird thing we just like to watch together. And when I found out about Saturday Night Live, I also found out about a rendition of one of my favorite plays, which I didn't know about back then, but I love it now. It's called Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, and it starred Robin Williams and Steve Martin. And it's this really weird, like, existential, like, play where it can really go any kind of way, but they took it in, like, a strictly, like, comedic route, and it was amazing. It just felt like a completely different piece. And it kind of made me realize that sketch comedy isn't just, like, laughs and, like, just getting someone to laugh. It's like, you have these deep characters and they're like rich and like you fall in love with them even before they say something. And it's that one thing you notice about them that I think is truly intriguing. And there are so many characters in sketch comedy that have been created over the years, and they all have like that one specific thing that is quirky about them that just happens on just because it's their character. It's who they are. And these characters are more real than just being written for a page, written for the screen. You can really fall in love with the rich characters because they're awesome. They're hilarious, but they're like truly funny, not just trying to get a laugh. They're like genuinely funny.
I fell in love with sketch comedy and theater from watching old clips of the Judy Garland show and Laugh-In and all those early type of shows that they had during the 50s and 60s. And I'm watching old black and white clips. I gravitate towards historical things. I love Marx Brothers. And those type of things where you just briefly come in and you create a world and you just go with it. And it's very improvisational, and you get to just enjoy the journey and share the journey with your audience. And it's just a unique thing that doesn't really ever happen anywhere else. In a narrative show, yes, you have the arcs of the characters and things, but there's a spontaneity and a spark of life to it that is nowhere else in any other type of theater or show.
My brother always watched sketch comedy. He loved SCTV. So my family watched that all the time. We watched the Christmas special every Christmas, stuff like that. So it kind of got ingrained in there.
So I definitely fell in love with sketch comedy, probably like most people through SNL. I grew up on SNL. Me and my dad would get together every Saturday and we'd watch it. And it's something I've always wanted to do, but I've never had the opportunity to do. And once I was offered to be in Funny Bonz, I definitely kind of became a little more obsessed with it. I would say I'm looking forward to more opportunities to do this in the future, as well as Funny Bonz.
Well, I fell in love with sketch comedy. I really think through some amazing actresses. I love Lucy. I know a lot of us do. It's almost like that was the name of her show. Bette Midler, also a big idol for me. And of course, like many people, sneaking into the living room when I really wasn't supposed to and watching SNL. And ever since really getting to watch it, I wanted to have it as well. I felt like I was going to be okay at it.
I fell in love with sketch comedy, realizing that you could create lyrics. I've always been a fan of changing lyrics. I think it might date back to Mad Magazine, maybe when I was a kid, which I used to get in my stocking every Christmas. And I just love the idea of taking a song that people know and changing the lyrics to make it a funny parody of some sort. And sketch comedy has just always been great to me. I love Saturday Night Live. I love everything about sketch comedy. It's different from improv. It's very different.
I fell in love with sketch comedy probably when I was like in 8th grade when I started theater. I was never really good at improv, and in fact, I regretted joining the improv club, but I did my best with it. But I really enjoyed sketch comedy because it tells little parts of a story in a humorous way, and it's so unexpected, which I think is what made me fall in love with it when I was younger. And I would watch like SNL and get really into everything that was going on there, and especially YouTube was pretty popular, and people were doing a lot of short little skits on YouTube, sketch comedy skits, which I thought were really, really fun. So I became obsessed with the humorous side of things. Though I love drama, I think the humor in sketch comedy is really what drives it home. I think laughing is the best medicine for anything. So if I can laugh at something, as dark as it may be, I tend to enjoy that part of the sketch comedy.
I first fell in love with sketch comedy back in 2005. I was cast in a show called Laughing Matters, which was a musical sketch comedy review show, much like Funny Bonz. And it was really cool because I got to be in the inaugural cast of this show that ran for 9 years. And I got the full treatment with the 2 weeks of rehearsals, solid like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday type thing with the director. And it was we were workshopping it and just getting to be involved in watching the process unfold with all of this really funny material that was a parody and satire on current events and all that type of thing. And at that point, having only done musical theater comedy or comedy on stage in a regular theatrical show, sketch comedy is a different style. It's a little more tongue-in-cheek, and it's kind of a little more relevant when the topics are topical. And that love for sketch comedy turned into an obsession over the 1.5 to 2 years that I worked with this show, because we put new material in it, we had new actors come into the mix from time to time, and it just was a lot of fun. You get a different response from your live audiences than you do from musical comedy like Oklahoma or any of those funny shows. It's a whole different thing. It's a lot more personal. There's that thing that's called the fourth wall, which you're not supposed to break in musicals and in plays. And that fourth wall is the wall that is between you and the audience. You get to, you can have that type of interaction where you look at them in the eye and you're like, a hyuk, kind of a thing. And I was obsessed with it. I mean, my life has become a sketch comedy because it's so much fun. I'm always the funny guy, so finding this niche in sketch comedy has been really a treat. This is John Peterson, the Executive Artistic Director of P3 Theater Company, and I have to say, you need to get yourself to a performance of Funny Bonz, the Humerus Solution, because if you don't, shame on you. You will not know what you missed, and you don't want to go through life having missed this.